messing around.
We have a very fun episode.
Yes.
I said this last week, and it applies to the episode this week. I completely forgot about this episode, and I've had so many people, I'm sure it's the same for you, but write to me and be like, I did a video for my better half, like the one that Nick did for Jess. And could you send in a video that will be part of it? Because the reason why we're doing this video is because they love this birthday episode, and it just set the bar for like an awesome birthday. And so this obviously resonated with a lot of people and started like a fun birthday thing that you can do. And I forgot about it. I remembered it when I saw the end where they're in the theater, because I know on the Fox lot, which screening room we went and did it in. I do remember that. But when I watched the episode, I was like, what is this?
Yeah. I just like you said, I get asked often to record messages for folks. I have some folks that it's like reoccurring. It's been for the past like 6 years. It's been like every birthday. It's that time of year again. Can you send such and such a video? Yep. And each year it gets stranger and stranger. So yeah, this episode in particular, I remember one moment and one moment only, and those are the moments with Coach, with Damon.
The baking.
The baking. I remember that. That was a very, very funny. That was to me one of the first times that I was witnessing Damon in full Damon mode.
The behind, in front, behind. I was like, there's no way that Damon knows how to stay not falling into hysteria with all of that.
His moist speech.
Oh,
anyway.
The moist speech was the most.
So in this episode, Nick is struggling to keep the surprise party he's planned for Jess's birthday a secret, which gets even harder when he's told that he needs to plan a birthday before the birthday. Now, meanwhile, Schmidt pays a visit to the bar to help Cece acclimate to bartender life, while Winston and Coach battle it out in a classic bro bake-off for the ages.
Directed by Richie Keene, written by beloved Kim Rosenstock. Love Kim so much.
Love Kim. She doesn't call. She doesn't write. But I still love her.
We love it. We love it. I will say this, and maybe we'll save it for the mess around. But I am known in my family and amongst my friends as the surprise party queen.
You mentioned this before, yet you've never thrown me one. Anyway, continue.
This is true. You know what, though? I will say you are very good at, and I mean this is going to sound like I'm trying to be like shady, and I'm not. I mean this actually in a very healthy, wonderful way. You are very good at celebrating yourself.
That's right.
You are. You're very good at being like, you do all the work, which is really kind, actually. You're like, here's the birthday. This is what's going on. You take care of people. You host it. You do the thing. So you're really good at it. I am surrounded by a lot of people who are not very good at celebrating themselves. And so I'm like, I'm going to celebrate you. I love you very much, and I'm going to celebrate you. And then I do it as a surprise to even like up the factor of celebrating them.
Hannah, here's why I celebrate myself.
Tell me.
Because people have like for my birthday, it's like I want to enjoy myself the way that I feel I should enjoy it. If someone throws me a surprise party at an event that I don't want to be at, I'm going to be like, well, how's this my birthday? Like, I'm not having a good time here at all.
These are the canapes? I would never.
Yeah, never. I would never. So, yeah, on one hand, I totally get it. But it's just because I don't trust people sometimes to throw me a good surprise party.
I get that. Also, if you're busy and life is full and you've got a lot going on and you're like, if I get to have one night where I get all my friends together, just let me do it. Let me do it. Let me have it the way I want it to be so I can have this great night. I get that. I'm saying I'm just saying that's why I've never thrown you a surprise party.
That's not why, Hannah. That's not why. You're just busy. And it's just...
Also, I would like to say throwing you a surprise party would actually be quite difficult because you have more friends than anyone I know. And that'd be a lengthy list. That'd be a lot of people to try to track down and to invite and have them come. I watched last night. Remember Chris Gernon? great director we had.
Yes.
She does all the Gavin and Stacy's, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And they had their series finale. It was a movie. They just dropped a movie on Christmas Day that Chris directed. And they're inviting Smithy's friends, James Corden's friends, to the wedding. And they're trying to make up the list for like the seating arrangement. And the fiance is like, well, Dirtbox, but I can't write Dirtbox on the name. Like, what's his real name? Or like Longfoot. Like, what's his name? I need his name. And he's like, I genuinely don't know. I don't know. That's what he's been called forever. We're unsure.
That's how it is with me. I have friends who have multiple like weird names.
That's right. I know.
Yeah. Dirtbox.
Dirtbox. All right, let's dive into this episode because it's a really good one. A lot of very funny moments in the birthday episode. Also another birthday episode. New Girl loves Thanksgivings and birthdays. Love them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And weddings.
Well, but you usually find that birthday episodes, Thanksgiving episodes, wedding episodes, it's a lot of moving parts. They invite a lot of folks. There's a lot of background. There's always something. And this one is no exception. So, at a booth in a bar, the bar, Cece brings Jess a birthday cocktail. Jess is barely able to get it down. Why? Because Cece's a terrible bartender.
I'm really good at shots is such a funny line. Yes. I'm really good at shots.
Yeah, it's a terrible drink. Rose, played by the lovely Angela Kinsey, she asks Jess if she has any special birthday plans, and Cece says she's just going to go to the movies alone like usual. And Jess cuts her off and says, no. Nick asked her to spend the day with him. Jess says she isn't a birthday person, but then immediately says she does have a lot of expectations for people.
This flashback, I remember this flashback actually. When I watched this episode, it all came back to me where Cece gives Jess a sweater. Jess reads the tag, which just says made in China. And then she's like, oh my God, I get it. I get it now. You're going to take me to China. Like, no, it's just where it's so made. Funny. I'm so sorry. This is it. This is the whole, that's the worst feeling, by the way. When you give someone a gift and they're like, this definitely can't be the gift. And so they're trying to help save you from what they feel is like a terrible gift. So Angela's got the best delivery of all time on everything. So she says she gets the whole movie idea on your birthday thing. Her parents took her to see Witness and then never came back. What? Brutal. Really cute. So she's like all excited because Nick has said she's going to do a birthday thing and she's like so stoked she's actually going to have one. Then Cece, not playing it cool whatsoever, goes back to the bar, tells the boys Jess has no idea about the big surprise party. They cheer really loud. Nick covers by saying Winston is STD free, which I guess flies with Jess because she doesn't question it. Then they do a big team check-in on all the things they need to do to make sure they pull off the best surprise party.
Coach is on decorations. Winston is on cake patrol. Schmidt is transporting all electronics from this little itty bitty flash drive to the party venue. Cece is going to cover his shift at the bar. Mike is not thrilled about this, obviously.
Ben Falcone?
Ben Falcone.
Ben
He's like,
Falcone.
He says, you set fire to soda water.
This scene with Ben, and then later on, there's a really big scene between Cece and Ben where he just goes through every part of her body that he finds disgusting. Is not working for him. Was fully improvised. Ben is the greatest.
So funny.
And when he had to stand there, I'll never forget having to stand there and he's like, this, ew, ugh, that's not good. The hair. And he just went through my whole body. And I just remember being like, I'm so sure when they were on his coverage, there's no way I wasn't laughing. He's so funny and committed to the bit. Because he's also, Ben Falcone is maybe one of the nicest humans in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Just the kindest human beings in the world. And to see him be able to get into this like very mean gay character that loves to hate Cece is amazing.
Yeah, he really hates Cece.
Really hates her. She is terrible at her job, by the way. And it sucks to work with someone who's just terrible at their job.
Oh, 100%. 100%. No. Nick tells Winston that he has a big surprise party planned. Schmidt asks, what's the plan? Dun, dun, dun. Before the birthday. And Cece adds on to it by saying Jess is expecting something. And Nick, he's not having it, but he says it's going to be okay because Jess is going to want to sleep in. The day doesn't start until noon.
The alarm clock goes off at 7 in the morning. Jess rolls over in bed. It's set at 7 in the morning because that's the time she was born. So she wants to start it at the time she was born. And then she's just like big-eyed staring at him being like, okay, you said we're doing a birthday together. So let's start birthday. Let's go.
Wide awake. Nick walks into the kitchen to see Coach, Winston, and Schmidt huddled over the cake. Winston tells him that there may have been a possible mix-up with the cake. The cakes.
This cake was extra.
I remember this quote.
I don't remember this at all.
I don't remember the cake necessarily, but I remember this quote. The cake said, "See you in hell, boomer." Like, I just remember that line.
What's it from?
I think it's from this.
No,
but
it's got to be. Oh, do you feel like the boomer generation? Is that what that is?
No, I think it's just like a joke about some dude named Boomer, and they got the wrong cake.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I could be
people
wrong.
say, I just Googled it. See you in hell, boomer, is a common way for people to say goodbye to their friends. What?
I guess so.
What? Also,
know.
they said it's way ahead of its time because now, of course, with the generational rivalries,
That's right.
it's quite fitting. Very Simpsons of us to sit there and have this
100%.
cake.
Now Nick tells Winston and Coach to handle this together. Schmidt asks if he needs to go check on Cece at the bar. Nick says no. Schmidt says he'll do it. Nick tells them that he has to make a 90-minute omelet.
Amazing. His famous 90-minute omelet.
Oh, my God. And it only took 6 minutes because Jess helped him. Now Nick is, again, he's still stalling. He's still stalling because he has nothing planned.
He's tap dancing.
And he's like, let's go to the bedroom and slow things down. Cut to Nick finishing the fastest that he's ever finished.
And then he's like, listen, let's just take a long nap, like a 6-7 hour nap. Or then he offers to go get lunch. She's like, it's 8:30 in the morning.
Which is the exact time that you wanted to start this podcast today.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so at the bar, Schmidt visits Cece. I do remember shooting this scene. So Schmidt visits Cece. Cece drops a broken glass in the ice bucket. Mike tells her not to give him the eyes. It doesn't work on him. He's super gay. And when he looks at Cece, he just sees bumpy and creepy. It's not good. Everything is together works out to a 3 out of 6. So the reason why I remember that scene actually really clearly is I got a job when I was 14 years old working in a bar in Cyprus. And I was genuinely terrible because I'm 14 at a bar.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be great at this job.
Yeah.
But the guys who all worked at this bar they were very Schmidt-like because there's this moment, we'll get to it, where Schmidt helps her make this old-fashioned. And it reminded me, and I wonder if I talked to Liz about it, because sometimes Liz would do those things where she would take something from your real life and she would like work it into like a bit or a story thing. And I remember I had spilled a drink, like dropped the whole thing, and I could see like customers looking at me because I was not very good at my job or coordinated. I didn't understand. And I'll never forget, I think his name was Giannis, who worked there.
Antetokounmpo.
I remember cause I was sitting there, I felt embarrassed. I had done this thing and I'd broken something or dropped something. And he grabbed the ice, like that was just kind of like in like the big ice kind of buckety thing with the drinks behind the bar. And he grabbed out a piece of ice, took my hand, which was covered in like some sticky, gross, like blue Curacao kind of drink, and just like put it on my hand, and then took a bar towel and like cleaned. Like it was just very loving and sweet and caring, just to be like, okay, you obviously clearly need help. I will say, now that I'm telling the story out loud, I forget this part. Now I just remembered it, that I did end up dating him. And now I realize that, it was very Schmidt-like too.
Hannah. Wait, how old was he?
What?
Hannah, how old was he?
I don't know, like 18.
No, this man was in his 20s. Hannah, you were 14.
No, he was not in his 20s. He was not in his 20s.
Hannah, what do you mean you were 14 and you started dating this grown man?
Well, no, it was very sweet. Nothing happened. This is the greatest thing about in Cyprus. Nothing happened. Because in Cyprus, you're on a little island. Trust me, you have enough uncles, brothers, cousins, everybody.
To date? What is going on here in this island?
Yeah, not to date. Who will kill you?
There's so many options on the island. Your brothers,
sweet.
your cousins, your
being
uncles.
Being in Cyprus was the greatest thing in the world, because if anyone is going to date you, it was like to date you to marry you. Because if not, they know that everyone will kill you. Nowhere to run when you're on an island.
That's strange. I don't like it.
Anyway, that story I forgot that last part of the
story.
It
took a turn. He was later my man.
It took a turn. I was just like, out of the goodness out of their hearts, they just helped me through the day. Oh my God!
Then we touched butts.
Then we did a butt bump. Okay, so back at the loft, Coach brags to Winston about how good he did with the decorations, kazoos included. He tells Winnie the Bish that maybe in his spare time he'll bake a cake himself. And Winston's like,
Yeah, back off.
Back off.
Just then Nick calls and tells Winston that he's freaked out. And he took Jess to a drugstore to get a free diabetes test. This man is spiraling right here.
Spiraling.
Winston tells Coach that he sees what he's trying to do. Okay, he's trying to show him up. Winston says, going all the way back to their basketball days, Coach could never stand to let Winston shine. Coach asked Winston if he's challenging him to a bake-off. Now, here's the thing about Coach: he's always competitive. And Winston says it starts when the timer goes off. Coach lets him know that, Winston, you set the timer for 20 minutes.
You dialed that big timer to 25 minutes. And we know, this is a good callback, that Coach loves to time things. That is like the one area that he's very good at.
And these are the moments that I remember. Damon had this one bit where he says, I'm going to bake a cake so moist. The girl's going to be like, ew, why do you say moist? I hate that word.
You know what?
Eat the cake.
I thought about that, though. I was thinking about it when I watched the episode. Who started that? Who started this thing that moist is a disgusting word? Because it really isn't. It's just a word, whatever. But it's a weird thing that we all kind of have this in-joke about the word moist. Like, where did it come from? Who's the originator of hating on the word moist? Because, to be honest, most things that are moist are good.
I mean, you know.
I can't say it with a straight face. But you know what I mean? Like a cake. You always want it to be moist.
You know what I say in replace of that?
Yeah.
You know what I say in replace of that? I say damp.
Damp. Damp's different, though. That's a lot more wet.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we got to move on. We're going to get flagged.
Yeah,
okay, so Mike brings a drink to Cece and says a customer ordered an old-fashioned, not gin in a mug with a peanut inside. And he asks Cece to make him an old-fashioned right now, or else he's going to call the manager, who he likes to call because the manager is very attractive.
Yes.
And then Schmidt. This was what reminded me of that moment in the bar, which we now have fully fleshed out the story of my memory. But anyway, about how to make an old fashioned. He tells her without telling her, and it's a very loving, sweet moment. And I remember shooting that scene with Max because this is just the genius of Max Greenfield sometimes. Like, he was doing things to walk me through this scene, like this bit, that were not in the script. Right? Because I had to actually go and grab all the things and do everything. But he also has to get through it fast. But it's hard to move your body as fast as someone's talking when you're going and grabbing a bunch of stuff. And it wasn't all lined up there. And so he would do little things to like buy me that extra second to go and grab the right bottle or whatever. So the flipping of like the shots for the ounces.
Yeah.
He made that into like a little bit.
Yeah.
He did all these little things that also was just so in the wheelhouse of Schmidt and Cece, because it's those little actions, which was really just helping us pace the scene, that are so loving between the two of them, that he's helping without helping. I love that. Those little tiny romantic moments that were just kind of woven in. And it just came from practicality. But as an audience, when you watch it, you're just like, it's really sweet because she's about to pour the wrong shot. But really, it's real Hannah is just trying to pace out all of the choreography of the scene. And real Max is being very kind and helping me do that.
I wonder if he knows how to actually make an old fashioned, or do you know how to make an old? I mean, obviously, rewatching the episode, that's how you make an old fashioned. But prior to that, did you know how to make one?
No, but I like them.
I know how to make one. I love old fashions. It's my favorite drink. No. For all those folks out there listening, please send your boy an old fashioned.
Also, the naming of drinks is kind of amazing. Old fashioned.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like a descriptive word. It's like calling a drink bouncy. Like it doesn't make sense when you isolate it and think about the word.
Yeah, Negroni though. Negroni is but that's based off of a person.
I don't like it.
And I think it was like a politician or somebody last name Negroni, and what he would do is he would, maybe it was his last, maybe it might have been his first name, I forget, but he would go to this bar and he would order sometimes he would have like a regular gin drink, just gin straight, and then sometimes another drink that you could do is Campari and sweet vermouth combined. That's a separate drink. So what he would do is, he would go in and he would have the Campari, the sweet vermouth, and then he would ask the bartender for equal amount of gin, and he would mix it. And then he would have this drink all the time. So when he would come back to the bar, he would always ask for the same 3 ingredients, and they would see him and they would go, "Oh, the Negroni." Negroni. And then it caught on in that bar, then it grew all throughout Italy.
Interesting.
I think it started in Florence, I want to say.
Wow, you really studied the Negroni.
Well, I love the drink, and when I was in Italy, everyone loves to say that they created the Negroni, or their bar was where it started. So you can't really tell who was lying or who was being truthful unless you Google it. But that's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
Google knows all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then before we go to break, this is one of my favorite moments: the phone call to the park. Where, hold on, I wrote it down because it made me laugh so hard. And it was not in the script, which means that he just said it. That Jake just said it, which is also so funny. He picks up the phone and Jess he's talking about like how do I stall in Griffith Park where then Max suggests suicide, which is also very funny. Kind of, not really. And Jess approaches Nick and he just yells, "Just figure it out, dude." Hangs up the phone and then goes, "It's my mom." The fact that he improv, just figure it out, dude, and yelled it, hangs up. And then goes, "Oh man, that's my mom." It's so funny. Big laugh out moment. All right, okay, we're gonna go to break. We'll come back. More Birthday New Girl.
And we are tired.
All right. So Jess, she's like, you know what? It's fine. I get it. You didn't plan anything for my birthday, and that's okay. It's all right. And then Nick is like, no, please just trust me. Just trust me, and it's going to be okay. And then she looks and sees a full birthday party set up.
Oh, gosh.
The fact that the man says nothing is crazy.
No, it's not that he's trying to. He's literally telling her not to sit.
He did not try hard enough.
He was like, no, don't. And she's just so in her own zone, in typical Jess fashion, that she goes and sits at this table, this empty table that's clearly not for her.
Clearly not for her.
Eating the cupcakes. And the kids show up and they're mortified.
She stole my birthday is one of the funniest lines ever.
Yeah, it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
That's right. She's just sitting there. I will say, in the table draft, it did not make it into the show. I don't think it made it into our shooting script because I don't think, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we ever shot this. So when Jess runs off and leaves, he's there stranded. He has no way to get back. He's got to get back to the loft. He doesn't know what to do, and calls. And Winston sends Bertie, who picks him up on the bus. That was.
You know what?
I don't think we shot that though.
I want to say we did.
Really?
Here's why. Oh. Because, and this is, we'll get to that point at the end. In the movie theater, she's there.
Oh, so maybe.
So I was like, there's no way they would call her in.
Yeah.
Just to turn around and go like this, and you only see her for a split second.
Wow. So then we did shoot it for sure then, because it was in our table, and then in our production draft that he gets picked up by Bertie. Yeah,
that's the only way I can say, because obviously I wouldn't have been there for that scene. But I'm like, why would I would hate it if unless you're being paid a full episode fee to
She's gonna get
sit
paid.
there.
She came to work.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, they probably had her do that, and then she was there, and so they're like, oh, now you got to go to this other scene.
There was a lot to pack into this episode. There was a lot going on.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
So back at the bar, Schmidt is trying to figure out how to tap the keg. Cece grabs the nozzle and then douses Mike
with beer.
And she then gets really hard on herself. And she says, look, maybe you're right. I have no skills. I didn't graduate high school. She shares that she never finished school. And Schmidt then very sweetly just has her back and says, a lot of people didn't, like Einstein, Bill Gates, and Frank. Takes that last one back. Not appropriate. He tells her that she is strong and confident, and those are the skills she needs to use. And she needs to be meaner to the people and pretend that they're him. And she's like, okay. So he started to turn her around, and she needs to pull her shirt down because this isn't a monastery. Then this part also did not see in the script, but made me laugh so hard. He's like, I'll look away, and then does this. Like leans in with the widest eyeballs in the entire world.
Now, back at the loft, Winston is wearing paper towels as an apron. Fun fact, this isn't the first time Winston has covered himself in paper towels.
Cece crashes?
Cece crashes. I think it was Cece crashes where I'm covered in paper towels.
Paper towel or toilet paper?
I thought it was paper towels.
Oh, maybe.
I could be wrong.
Something not meant to be on the body. Let's put it that way.
100%. And we find that him and Coach are battling it off in a bake-off. Now, that's the behind. In front is so funny. Damon's doing spin moves and everything. It's so funny.
It's very much the bear. I love a good, high stakes, big anxiety kitchen vibe. I
like to think that the bear was created based off of this particular scene.
Absolutely.
And they never called us to be on the show.
That's rude.
I don't want to give them any credit.
No.
The bear is not a comedy,
Jeremy?
by the way. Jeremy, that was not a comedic performance, by the way. I love you, buddy, but that's not a comedic performance.
So then Jess barges in, lays down on the couch, and she is sobbing. And somehow misses that in the entire apartment there are balloons, there are kazoos, there are two men baking cakes. But she's collapsed crying and doesn't see it.
That's right.
But she can smell the baking.
She can. Coach says, she's like, hey, have you guys been baking? Coach says, a bakery exploded downtown, but not to look it up because it's not on the internet.
It's not on the internet. It's so funny, too.
Oh, my gosh. Nick tells Winston on the phone that he might be having a heart attack and that he didn't arrange for anyone to clear his search history. Oh my God. He's like, I wasn't building the bombs, just curious.
That is so true, though. It is so funny. You can look anything up. It doesn't mean that you have an active pursuit planned of doing the thing. We all go on weird deep dives and rabbit holes and trying to figure it out. So this is the call, I think, where Winnie tells him, I got you. I'm sending Bertie to come get you, and it's going to be fine.
Right.
But that, I guess, all got cut out. Back at the bar, Cece tells Mike she's finished her chores and she needs to go to her friend's birthday party. There was a whole other scene also that got cut where Schmidt loses the itty bitty flash drive. And Cece gets all the customers involved. So she also does something nice and kind and saves him. But that part didn't make the show. So all you see is Schmidt being really nice and kind and helpful to her. But there was a whole big scene that was shot where she kind of saves the day for Schmidt, who makes a mistake.
So everyone kind of has their duties, but they all seem to screw it up.
That's right.
Let's see. Back at the Loft.
Yeah. Cake merch.
Winston and Coach, they tell each other that it's been a privilege working together. They figured it out. They pull out their cakes from the oven, and they have merged.
Merged a cake.
That's
Double
right.
cake. Double cakes.
They hug it out. You know what I mean? Now Nick goes to find Jess in her room, but she's not there. It's just a note. It says she's going to the movies. It's the thing that she does. And during the movie previews, dun dun dun, which is what we talked about earlier, which is so cool. Nick comes on the screen and he says that he knows this is where she always goes for her birthday, to be alone, but he thought this year she might want some company, and he sits right next to her.
Yeah.
Before we finish this, I just want to say, you can't just be renting out movie theaters and sticking your own damn movies in there. That's wild. Now, you can do it.
You can do it, but it costs a lot of money.
I'm like, this man.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, gosh. Anyway. Well, he had that Fox money behind him, so it was okay. Nick was an employee of Fox. And he says, he tells her to look under her seat. Better hurry up, because there's a card under everybody's seat.
Also, the timing. It's all timed, which I thought is so funny. He refers to it several times where he's like, okay, there's we're going to keep talking. This is not happening live. I'm sitting here, so you got to move along.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay, so video Nick tells her, look under the seat. There's a card. She's like, oh my God, how did you know I was going to sit in the seat? He's like, I didn't. It's under every single seat. And she had to read fast, and the card reads, my name is Jess. I like to wear tights. It's dark in the room, so let's turn on the lights. And turn on the lights, and we all jump up and celebrate our girl.
That's right.
That was fun. And then they go back into the video, and we got Cece, we've got Winnie, we got Bear Claw, Tran, incredible, love Tran. We've got Jamie Lee Curtis as the mama, all of her classroom students who are not creeped out that a man showed up with a video camera and said, say these things. And then classic romance, man. Some Nick Miller romance right there at the end with the coin.
This is the coin that he had in his pocket when they first kissed.
That's so
and then
sweet.
Which I think is BS. He doesn't carry it with him at all times.
He's like, she's not checking my pockets.
Yeah, the episode prior when he was wearing those bulls cut up tight shorts. They don't have pockets on those shorts.
Also,
where was
just
the coin?
A loose coin in a pocket. It's wild to have.
Yeah, that's very wild. Unless she's hiding it in his Depends. She's nestled right on up between his butt cheeks. Now Winston and Coach, they bring out the cake and they sing happy birthday. But when they go to sing happy birthday, Jess isn't in her seat.
She's gone.
She's outside in the hallway crying. Nick comes out, he finds her, and they swap spit. Jess tells him that this is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for her. Now, back in the video, because what's interesting when I was rewatching it, I was like, damn, they got everybody but Schmidt. That's crazy. And then at the end,
perfect.
He's walking towards the camera, and behind him, this really cool old school car explodes.
Didn't he say this is going to be my launch vehicle or something? He's doing it for his Jack Ryan dreams.
Oh my gosh! And then they show him running away from dinosaurs. Everybody's throwing popcorn on him.
That was fun. I remember throwing the popcorn. That was really fun.
Yeah,
those moments where they're just douse
just
them.
do it.
You're like, all right.
That's the second time you've had to do that on the show, right?
Yeah.
Basketball game with Coach, I think.
Yeah.
You had to do it.
Really had to throw popcorn all over people.
And
that's the episode. It was such a good episode, such a feel-good episode. It was so good to see Ben Falcone do all those improvs that made me laugh so hard on the day, and then in the rewatch. Yeah, man, there was never enough Winnie and Coach together. They gave you guys some real gold.
Oh, yeah.
To just be weird.
Oh, man. Working with Damon, again, is one of my favorite things to do. So, because you never know what you're going to get.
It's very true.
Never know. So let's go to break. When we come back, Hannah and I will mess around with each other. Cypress style.
All right.
And we're back.
We're back.
Babe.
Yeah, babe.
Ever plan a surprise party for someone, or has anyone ever planned one for you? And before you answer that, I know the answer already. Yes.
Yes, I've planned but here's the thing. It got to a point, to be honest with you, with the surprises, where every single thing, this is true, became a surprise party or had a surprise element. So like, I remember going to Scotland to go see my mom. And my brother was like, okay, I'm going to come with my girlfriend and we'll go visit mom too. And I was like, okay, but let's not tell her.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom thought it was like just me coming. And then my brother would fly in and we'd have to do all this stuff to like secret him into my mom's house, hide him and his girlfriend like in like the bedroom. And then my mom, I was like, she was so excited, picked me up. She's like, oh yeah, amazing. Meanwhile, my stepdad had to go and like, you know, go get them from the airport. Like it was like always this crazy of layers. And then I'd send my mom up to the bedroom to go get something. And my brother and his girlfriend are just like sitting there on the bed and she screams and cries, you know? And so that's everything. Everything was a surprise, no matter what. Every birthday, it's like, I can't tell you what we're doing. Every time, you know, in-laws or somebody coming to visit, wouldn't say it. And then they would just like be in the house. So I got to a point where I was almost like addicted to the surprise thing. And I was so good at planning surprises. So the biggest surprise party, though, I will say I've ever done. And it kind of reminded me of this episode, which was my brother was turning 30.
I remember this.
Yeah. And so I had planned this huge surprise party for him. And, but then it's like, but I can't not do anything all day to the surprise party. So, and this is how deep my addiction to surprise parties went. I distracted him during the day with another surprise party. So we took him to a restaurant. My dad was in town and we're like, oh, let's go to a restaurant for like an early dinner. Went to the restaurant. And then I asked my brother, I was like, I'm going to the bathroom. Can you just like walk me to the bathroom so we could chat for a second? And we pulled back the door and it was like to a private, like, you know, room in the restaurant and everybody was there and everybody had flown in and it was a big surprise. And then he was like, oh my God. And then we were like, okay, surprise. And he was like, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And then everybody left after this big long dinner. And then we were walking home. I lived on 3rd Street. So it was like a fun little walk back to the house. We were walking home and I was like, should we get some ice cream? And we went to this ice cream shop. And then, we went to the back of the ice cream shop and there was a secret door in this ice cream shop. Mm-hmm. And there was a private room back there and everybody from the dinner went to and hid in the back there and set up a whole other surprise full of all this other stuff and more cakes and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we had a DJ. It was very fun. And so I hit him with 2 surprise parties and he never saw either one coming.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. It was really good. But now I'm in a season of life, I will say, where I've put down my surprise party hat. Because I'm just like, no more. There's no need. I also realize people like the buildup. I didn't know that. Like to know, like, hey, in a week, we're going to go do this awesome thing. And
you can't, that's the problem. People can't surprise me. They try, but my brain, my intuition, I'm so tapped in to the vibes and the energy of the city that I know what's going on.
Have people tried to do a surprise party for you or do surprises for you?
Yeah.
And it's never worked?
No, because people are slow. People, I once tried a surprise party for a friend of mine. Yeah. My friend Marisol. It was going to be at my house and we had it all set up. It was perfect. She was out running around. I told her to come by the house. We'll figure out something to do. I'll take her to lunch for her birthday. And now at this point, my house has got 50 people in it, right? And she's on her way home, and it's like, so far, it has worked. She comes inside. She gets to the door. Then she goes back to her car, drives off. Then she comes back. Then she goes to the door, and she walks in with her phone in her hand recording. When she walked in, everybody was surprised, and she was just like, I already knew. And here's how she knew. One buddy decides to go into the backyard while he was there and is like posting Snapchat videos of him hanging out by the pool going, oh, we're at Marisol's birthday. He was like, she goes, dude, Nick, you dumbass. Like, you're posting it on your Snapchat.
Why was
and you
Nick
put
Cannon
my name
posting
in
that on his Snapchat?
Because Nick Cannon, crazy, bro.
Oh, no, that's the worst.
It's the absolute worst.
What an idiot.
So dumb. All right, Nick.
All right, Nick. Way to go, Nick.
In the new girl universe, who do you think, minus Jess, would win in a bake-off?
You know what's really funny is I was asked if I would do the bake-off. The Great American Bake-Off, whatever it is, to do the bake-off. And I was like, no.
Why?
I love to cook. I am a great cook. I love to cook. I do not know how to bake. I don't bake. None of it. Like, I don't understand it. It's not how my brain works. I will cook all day because you can add and taste as you go.
Yeah.
The baking situation where you're like, dump it all in, put it in the thing, put it in the oven, come back and what you get. It's not for me. It's not for me. So I'm taking myself right out of this. Like, there's no way Cece or Hannah, we're out. We don't bake.
Well, I'm going to say Winston.
I believe Winston would be good at baking.
Good. He'd be great. Lamorne, I could tell you Lamorne is great at baking.
I don't believe that.
I won Cupcake Wars.
You did Cupcake Wars?
Celebrity Cupcake Wars, and I won.
Get out of town. How much help did they give you off camera, though?
None. So you were allowed to bring your you're allowed to bring an assistant.
You're like a full cake from Gelson's. Okay.
Well, you got to break up. But you have different rounds and different things that you need to make.
You could bring an assistant. Who'd you bring? Your mom?
No, I brought in my boy Jeff. Remember Stella Barra? He was Stella Barra's on Sunset pizza place.
Oh yeah. I thought you met a person. I was like, I don't remember Stella. Who was she?
Oh yeah.
Was she nice?
So Jeff, that was his restaurant.
Oh.
And Jeff he's an amazing chef.
Got it.
And baker and all those things. So he was my sidekick.
So you brought in a professional.
Let me tell you something. Why would I bring in a bum? Why would I bring in a bum who don't know what cake tastes like?
Like,
I
if
would bring in the guy.
An advantage, I mean, it's actually quite smart thinking. Yeah. I applaud you.
Shout out to Jeff. Thank you.
Shout out to Stella. I never met you. I'd love to.
Stella!
Man, I love this episode so much. Just for the simple fact, anytime we did something on the show that then became like a part of people's lives in a real way. It always just feels like a magical thing to me to know that so many people's birthdays, they've done this. They've made this type of video specifically because the person's whose birthday it was, they loved New Girl and they loved this. And the fact that I forgot about this episode and then rewatching it, I'm like, oh, this was gold. What a great one.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Set the bar. It's so romantic. Because here's the thing, too. The happy tears at the end was also such a nice moment. Like, such a nice moment where she was so moved by it. It was a sweet way to end the episode. I mean, that's why they had to do the Schmidt tag. Because you honestly ended in near tears yourself. Because it's, like, so sweet and romantic and moving. And he did pull it off. Good job, Nick Miller.
Great job, my friend. And great job to you all out there for being fans. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Go ahead and follow us on IG at the Mess Around Pod. Now, next week, we got a iconic episode. The episode. Prince. That's right. Prince. Dun, dun, dun. Peace.
That was The Mess Around, an iHeartMedia production.
Our executive producer is Joelle Monique. Our senior producer is Abu Zafar. Bei Wang provided engineering and editing services.
Additional production from Daniel Goodman, Wendy Heisler, and Kyle Chevron. Our theme song was written and composed by Ronald Jukebox Jackson.
Catch you next time.
Bye.